Hello, helps if I look in the right place. Diane here from Stitchscape. I'm doing another one of my impromptu, oh why don't I film this type of videos for you, all about free motion quilting. And I'll explain more as I go along, but basically what you're going to just be watching me doing is free motioning, stitching on my domestic machine. I ordinarily at the moment do all my quilting on my long arm quilting machine, which is there. But as you can see, there's already a quilt on that frame, which is well overdue being stitched. But of course, I'm avoiding my responsibilities and I'm coming to stitch this. Now, as you can see, it's a Christmas panel. Be better if I could show you further down. There you go. See, so it's a Christmas advent calendar panel. I've yet to stitch on the pockets at the bottom. They're pinned in place, ready to go. But I thought before I do that, I'll do the free motion. Now, I teach free motion, I teach patchwork, I teach quilting, but I haven't, because of the long arm, I haven't actually done any free motion on this domestic machine for quite some time. And it shows. It shows. But you know what? I just think it's good. If you can watch me doing my free motion, then maybe you will learn how not to do things. Maybe you'll learn, oh, that doesn't work for me. Or maybe you look at me and say, Diane's not really bothered, is she? Why am I stressing out about this? Why don't I just crack on with it when I'm doing it and just stitch and work through the problems? I've already had to unpick a little bit. Let me show you. See this little doggy here with the hair on it? There we go. I've already had to unpick that because that was my first bit of stitching. I've only done round there and a tiny little bit round this snowman. That's all I've done. And so that's happened already. So again, the thing is, when you start on something and you haven't done it for a long time, it's give yourself some slack. I mean, but keep your eye on the ball though. There's no good just saying, oh, it doesn't matter, dreamy, not really looking what I'm doing, don't really care. Well, then you're not going to get good results, are you? You're just not. So if you're wanting to relax and do it, that's good because that will help. But if you notice anything feeling, sounding, looking a bit meh, it probably is meh. So this is what I'm doing. When I thought this stitching of that dog didn't feel great, so I stopped, cut my threads and had a look at the back, and sure enough, the top tension was dire. How I knew that, for those of you who are new to all this, my back stitches barely look like stitches at all. They just look like a great big strong long line of thread, which is not what you want. You want to see the individual threads, so then that you know that both the top thread and the bottom thread have actually connected and are creating a stitch. So I've already done that. And I'm also now actually going to cut my threads with my little thread cutter button, because another thing I realised wasn't right is I haven't got my super slider mat on here. Now, can you quilt without one? Too damn right you can. But is it a lot smoother and easier and more fluent with one? Yeah. Just looking at where those pins are going. So I've just been to get it. So bear with, it's just behind me over there. Or actually what I'll do is I'll put it on pause and I'll come back for you. It'll be like 1 millisecond. Here you go, told you. There you go. It's a super slider, free motion glider. You can get them at different sizes. My machine's got quite a big extension table, so I think, what's it say, 12 by 18 inches, white Teflon slip pad, cling back, pre-cut hole. So this is currently on paper to roll it up, but See, there's a little hole, and then the back, oh, could perhaps do with a wash, but that is slightly tacky to your finger, but when you put it down on the extension table, it will cling to it. So just put the hole over your hole where your needle goes in and out, and then pat down your mat. Smooth it down. Now, if you get yours, well, if it's brand new, yours will stick really well. But because mine hasn't been washed in a while, let me sort this out. Because this hasn't been washed in a while, it's not as tacky as I would like. All you need to do to wash them is just stick them in a bowl of water. Rub your hands over if there's any threads and that caught on the back. Just get a shot of those, and you're good to go. Leave it to dry, of course, and then put it back on. That's not too bad. But if it doesn't stick that well, it means that the mat might pull up at the sides when you're moving your project. I've only got this tiny little advent calendar, so it's not so bad. But if I had a big 75-inch square quilt going in and out of this, it would really challenge this mat. But you probably can't see it that well at the minute. I think you could, there you go. You can see a bit of the line edge of it there and goes round there. My mat still extends beyond it, and that's fine. But underneath the main area is around the needle. Either side of the needle is your main focus, of course. Right, now, bear with. Let me get this back. There you go. Let's give you a bit of a better view while it's up out of the machine. There you go. That's it. And the pockets, like I say, haven't been sewn on yet on the bottom. That's where they're jungling all over the place. On the back, because they've got Labradors, the family member that I'm making it for, I got this lovely fabric from Sewing Bee Fabrics in Birkenhead. They're online. Yeah. So that's cool, because it was just at Christmas gone. I know it's January and Christmas is nowhere near. But at Christmas, one of my relatives said that they didn't have one. And then that put the idea in my head. And here we are in the middle of January making an advent calendar. But, of course, get my chair. I want to get it made before next December the 1st anyway. Otherwise, it'll be too late. And they might need to put a pole or something to help them put it up on the wall, because I've got those hooks on the top. Anyway, I'm not meant to be talking all that, so they'll need a pole, won't they, on the wall somehow or other. Or they might decide to just not bother with those. And there's all sorts of different ways to hang a quilt on a wall. I actually sell quilt hangers. They're made by Prim. And they're really good, and they don't need any attachments. They're just like a ball bearing inside, and somehow or other they clip in without any connections at all. It's dead easy. Check it out on my website if you want. That was a bit of a promo that I wasn't expected to do. Right, I have got a top stitch 90 needle in for any of you who are interested. And all I'm doing is I'm just playing really with this. Just wanted to make it nice and relaxing. So all I'm doing is basically going round all these creatures and parcels and bows and whatnot and Christmas trees, just with white thread. You'll see as I go what I'm doing. But very easy flowing, no stress project. And I can just do bits at a time, even if I just wanted to do like one dog at a time or something like that one. That would be obviously doable if you don't get much time at once. Depends on if you can leave your sewing machine out though. I'm lucky I have a sewing room here in the house, so I can leave my machine out all the time. In fact, I could just leave this project out all the time. Right, shall I get on with it? It's been 9 minutes already and I still haven't done any stitching. This is how it goes though. There's a lot to this sewing business. Not my sewing business, the business of sewing, I meant. Okay, now one thing I do like to do is put the camera down so you can see what's going on for a start. I don't know how well you're going to see, but I might film it for a little bit and then check out what the filming's like and then see if it's worth us going ahead. But it's just a little note really to say lots of things. I just like sharing what I do. But it's just sometimes we need something a little bit different or a little bit, take things easy. You know, it's all great learning new skills and developing yourself, but sometimes you just need to go back, do something you can do almost in your sleep and just enjoy that feeling. And just, sometimes it's really good if my sojo's gone. Going back to a project simple like this really kickstarts my sojo. But that hasn't at the moment. It's just that I need to get this done and I'm avoiding doing probably other jobs that are more urgent maybe. But if it's what I feel like doing and it's the end of the day, I'm going to do it. My bad. Alrighty, let's get you back down here. Let's see how much stitching we can do and see if I need to move the camera at all, because I ain't no videographer. I'm a patchwork and quilting teacher who loves to run all sorts of events face to face. I am not a videographer. Right, I'm going to bring that bobbin thread up. Where's my tweezers? Pull up that bobbin thread, because of course I've used a needle, my automatic cutter, and it does cut it quite short, so you do need tweezers most of the time. Press the foot down, press the foot down, needle down, Diane even. And then I'm just going to do, I don't do tie off stitch, bury my thread. I don't bury my threads. I just go over the previous stitches with small stitches and secure them that way. I'm just like starting off slow. And there we go. We're off. Would you believe it? I'm going to go fairly slow because, of course, the design goes all over the place. That's what's going to be the hardest about this, is going to be keeping track of where I've done and where I haven't done. But that's something I can look at when I think I've finished. I'll look back at it and think, oh, I need to do that little area. I need to do that little area. That's perfectly achievable. And trying to find a thread path is nigh on impossible because of that fact, because you're jumping about all over the show, tiny little areas. And don't forget, you can stop. And my machine is set to stop with the needle down. I'm lucky enough to have a machine with that option. Absolute game changer if you haven't got it. Save up your pennies and get yourself a machine with the needle down option, which means every time you stop stitching, the needle will go down back into your fabric. And especially when you're doing something like free motion, that is very handy indeed, because then when you restart, you'll be restarting from exactly the same place. Oh, I need to cut that thread, my starting thread, otherwise it's going to get in the way. Cut that like that. There we go. Oops. There's my practice sandwich, because again I was having a few tension issues. I was using a Wonderful Deco bobbin, and I was wondering if that tension, the thread wasn't helping the tension either. So I changed out the bobbin for, I just made a bobbin with Orifil thread and changed my top tension a bit. I did increase my top tension. And last time I checked, all was well. But it will be what it will be now. I'm not changing it every 5 minutes. See, now I'm at that part of, can you see, is that better? The hat. And I don't know whether to go to the tree or continue the snowman. And I think I'm just going to continue with the snowman. Because then it'll help me remember what I've done and what I haven't done. So the needle's down, so I can just move my advent colour around so that I'll be now stitching down on this side, and I'm going to do a little bit more of the scarf. And then I may well cut my threads, and go on to do these two little presents here. So where am I? Right, I'm there. So I'll go back over some stitching I've already done. That's fine. That's called travelling. Oh, I haven't got my hands very well on the fabric. I'm going to actually grab the fabric because it's so small. It's just easier. And go around there. There we go. And I'm not going fast, am I? I'm just got, like I said, I need to go fairly slow because I need to be a little bit more mindful of all the tiny little changes in direction and what's going on the fabric. It's not, I can't just whizzy bang all over the place. I do need to take a little bit more care than that. Actually, I am going to break my threads there, so I'm just going to do a few tiny little stitches almost in the same place. They're locking stitches and cut my threads. There we go. Now I'll have a little bit of a tail on the back, but I'm not worried about that. I'll can you see that? There's a little bit of the thread still left. I'll cut all that off when I'm finished everything. So there's going to be a lot of this. But you know what? What else would I rather be doing? I don't think I've got any ironing to do, so I don't have to think of anything like that. Needle down, needle up. Get my tweezers. Pull that bobbin thread up. Oh, some of my thread savers have come up with me. Put the threads through the middle of the presser foot. Needle back down. And let's do some securing of our stitches. I think I'll go back that way a bit, and then back that way is the line that I'm following next on this scarf. So you have to coordinate the speed that you're stitching at with the speed that you move the quilt at. Actually, I think I can keep going round, go over there again. That's better. A little bit too slow there. My stitches were looking a bit meh. And that's it. I think that's it for the snowman. That'll be fine. A few stitches in the same place almost. Cut my threads. Cut off this on the front. Now I'll go down to do these two little presents here. I'll stitch around those. And actually what I could do then is I could go on to do this part of this tree here, couldn't I? So when I finish, I'll start here, I think. Then I'll go round this present. Then I'll make my way back to this one and end up here. And then I could always travel up there along the trunk of the tree. The word wasn't coming to me. I'll go up the trunk of the tree, up there, the side, and then I might just follow up the side of here, and then I can do the top of the tree and down that side a bit. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do now. So hopefully this is showing you that, yes, free motion is a particular skill in itself, but it doesn't have to be mega fast. It doesn't have to be stressful. You just, again, take the time to do the little steps, like bringing up your bobbin thread so it doesn't end up as a gnarly mess on the back. Needle down, do a couple of securing stitches forwards and backwards or in the same place, whatever you choose to do. Roll this up a little bit so it's more manageable. I'm also making, because this quilt is bagged out, I'm also making sure that my layers are always lying nice and flat and not starting to bulk up at the edge at all. I'm wanting it all nice and flat, and my hands going down with some sort of pressure is helping that to happen. There we go. Because you can move in whatever direction you want to with free motion, because the feed dogs are down. They are not controlling the fabric at all now. My hand movements are what's controlling the fabric. There we go. I think I'll go back this way. And then down here. And get my... If your hands ever don't feel right, just stop. And hopefully you put your needle down. I spent goodness knows how many years having to turn my hand crank. Hold on. I'd have to turn my hand crank. Always turn it towards you to make my needle go down. But now I have this amazing Brother V5, Innovis V5. I've got this button. Let me just show you. Wiggle, jiggle, wiggle, jiggle. This button here is the needle down button. They look very similar on all the different, many machines have these now. The digital machines have this. And it's absolutely wonderful. So I've moved my hands. I need a little bit more speed than that. That's better. And talking of speed, I wonder if you've noticed that I've got my speed set to the middle, not the very fast, because with this tiny design, I found it's quite hard to keep a regular speed. So when I first did that dog as well, some of my stitches were absolutely tiny because all of a sudden I'd go very fast because I'm out of practice with doing free motion on the domestic machine, like I said. So I made the sensible decision to then move the speed to the middle so that even if my foot goes too hard on the pedal, it still won't go too fast. It'll still be a manageable speed and won't create tiny little stitches, which are not great and are actually not that easy to unpick either. There we go, get to the top of that present. Then I'll do a bit of going round the bow at the top. Actually, that's been done before, so I don't need to go through that again. And if you're not exactly on the same line as you were before, it doesn't matter. This is free. Oops, I've gone the wrong direction there. See, talking. I should have gone up to the trunk of the tree rather than going back around the present, but that's fine. But if you're not exactly following the line, it does not matter. Close enough is good enough. If you're a perfectionist, you can unpick all your stitches if you like and go over it again. And then if you're still not happy, you can unpick them again. You know, you can keep doing that till you're blue in the face. Because you are not a robot, I'm afraid. Even a robot wouldn't be able to do this exactly straight. This is free motion. It's more organic. You are a human. It is okay to show that a human has made something. There we go. And the slower you're going, the better. Like I say, this is not a race. I have got till November to get this finished, really, for the things call my attention. Right, I've got to the end of a little bit there, so I'll just secure my stitches. Not that I think this will ever get washed. It's a wall hanging. An advent calendar only comes out for 4 weeks of the year. But I do like to do my best to secure the stitches. So I've done down to there. So now I'm just going to do these tiny little bits of the tree just to help define it that little bit. And I've just realised I could have done with doing it at the bottom there as well. But this is going to happen all the way through it. I'm going to find little bits like that oh, there we go. Like, I'm going to find little bits like that I haven't done. But if I don't do it, you know, nobody's going to notice. All they're going to be interested in is what's going to be put in these pockets. They're not going to be looking at my free motion quilting, I can tell you now for nothing. But I love the process. I love doing it. I love how it relaxes me, how it makes me feel that I'm being productive in a creative way, in a non-pressured way. I love doing it. So whether anybody else notices is not my aim here. I don't quilt for anybody else. I quilt from, well, apart from when I'm doing commissions, I'm quilting for myself. So it can be what it can be. I do not have to worry too much over every little thing. But yes, I do want a certain standard. I don't want it to be rotten, and like I said, I don't want it to have all horrible stitches at the back and things like that. That's why I unpicked that dog first. But but it is not going to be perfect, and I do not reach the same line as before every time by any means. That's that cut. Now let's do that tiny little bit that I missed out at the bottom of the tree. I'll go all the way from the left over to the right of the bottom of that tree. Excuse me. Needle up. Tweezers. Tweezers, doctor. Right. Underneath the presser foot. Try and get the needle back over where the bobbin thread came up. Hold your top and your bottom thread in your left hand so that they don't get swallowed by the machine. And you just need to hold those for the first couple of stitches, and then the machine should be fully engaged and ready for you to let go. This is a very small area. I can't go very fast at all here. And that's all it was. There we go. Dun, dun, dun. There. There you go. Oops, some thread I need to cut off. Now there's always bits I could do more of, like on that snowman and on the Christmas tree. But you have also got to realise all this takes time. So I've done those presents, I've done the dog, I've done this snowman, I've done that tree. So the next thing I will probably do is I might do those gloves, but then I haven't done that one, so then again I might not. So I might do this tree next. And I could do the antlers, you know, I could even do every bauble, but that ain't gonna happen. I don't have time for that. I just want to do this nice and simple, straightforward, just to quilt this top bit to keep those 3 layers together. And then when it hangs, it should last them for many, many years of having Ferrero Rocher or whatever put in the pockets. Right, you can let me know if you like what you'd like put in the pockets. What would I like? I today have had a Cadbury's cream egg, even though it is January 2025. There were some in the shop, so why not? They're nowhere near as good as they used to be, though, are they? But maybe I could have a little Cadbury's cream egg in every one. Yeah, but I'd be the size of a ship, wouldn't I, by the end? Who knows what I'd have in there? Depends on who you're giving it to, doesn't it? Yeah. But if you get a chance to do some sewing and that, nice and straightforward, if you want to try out free motion, consider some of those little tips that I gave you. And do you know what? Just enjoy. Let it relax you. Let it unwind you. Do 10 minutes, do half an hour, do 2 hours. But actually take breaks. If you're going to do a long stint, take breaks. Get up off your chair, have a drink of water, go to powder your nose, and have a break. Otherwise you'll end up with sore shoulders. Okay, I'll see you later. And I keep forgetting to look at the left-hand side where the camera is. But you'll survive. Keep on enjoying your quilting.